Hey there guys, welcome back for another episode of Mortal Realms Monday. In today's video we're going to be looking at assembling the 3 spirit hosts from issue 28 of the Mortal Realms magazine. Now this is my first time doing a build video, so do bear with me on this. I hope I do it justice for you guys, and I hope that this video does help you in assembling your spirit hosts, as I have been told that they are quite fiddly. So first of all, we're going to be building Spirit Host 1, and this is using the part of the 2-part sprue, so I've just broken it off here, but this is the one that came as 2 parts. And what you're looking for on this is part 19 and part 18 here, and then you know that this is the right sprue. I have gone through and checked on this. All the pieces for Spirit Host 1 are on this sprue. So first of all, find the part that has part 18 and 19 on the center area, and you know it's the right one, or look for the single gravestone as part 30 here. Alright, so first of all, the magazine is asking us to take part 26 and part 18 and attach them in a cross shape. So looking at this, keeping it this way up with the gravestone upside down here and the join for the 2 sprue pieces just on the right hand side. Part 26 is this long part here, and part 18 is this one here. So I'm going to go ahead and remove these, and then I'll do a little bit of cleanup, and then we'll come back and we'll see how to fit these 2 pieces together. So I'm just carefully using some clippers, just clipping right up against the plastic there, coming from behind so I can see what I'm doing, and it is just slightly off, as I find that these tend to, because these spruce sections come to a bit of a point, I find that when you're clipping you tend to slip down slightly. So rather than slip and cut into the actual piece that we want, I'm coming slightly higher and then clipping, and that way if I slip, then you know, if it slides down slightly, then all we're going to do is end up with a little bit of plastic left on this piece. So that was that one, and then doing the same. Now you'll notice that I'm holding the sprue, but I'm also holding the piece that I'm cutting just to try and stop it from moving too much, so that we don't break anything off. So turn it around so I can get to it. I know my fingers are close to this, but there is a slight gap at the back there. There we go. Okay, so that's these 2 parts, and I do recommend removing them a part at a time. Now I'm using a X-Acto knife here, but you can use a mold line remover tool. But all I'm doing is just finding the areas where the sprue was attached, and I'm just gently sort of sliding along the top, just removing any excess plastic that is on there. Now this part I would recommend with a X-Acto blade, just be very careful with what you're doing. And then I'm now coming down with the blade slightly angled away from me, and just following down where that mould line is, and obviously where it's on one side it will be on the other. So I've got a little bit here that needs removing, so all I'm doing, very carefully as I cut, I'm sort of curving the knife slightly and removing a small piece at a time. This way I'm not cutting into any other piece that I don't want removed. And then just very carefully smooth that off. And obviously this process will be the same for all pieces. Now some of these pieces are going to be extremely fiddly. For example, this piece here, and this piece just here. So be very careful, you don't want to apply too much pressure, we don't want to snap this. The same will go when painting this as well, especially if dry brushing. You don't want to apply too much pressure. So just finding the mould lines. Now there is a ridge line here, but I don't believe that's a mould line, as the piece was in the sprue this way, and the mould line will be essentially anywhere on this plane typically. So mould lines will usually come on this piece, for example, come running down this edge and then down this back edge. You won't get one going this way. So that's that one done. I'll get on with this one and then we'll come back to okay, so welcome back guys. Right, I've cleaned these two pieces up, and what you can see here on this is part 18, you've got these two little bumps just here, and on part 26, just get it in focus, you can see, there we go, two small indentations there. Now the way that they're showing this on the instructions is that this is held this way and then this one this way. Now I find it easier to do it the other way round. Sorry, so they've got this one this way and this one this way, and what we want to do is fit them in so that we've essentially got the two bulky pieces at the top, and you can see just dry fitting this, and what you'll get, this is super fiddly, is the two pieces will sort of bump into each other and they'll connect, and then what you can do is if you give it a gentle wiggle, you'll feel that they are biting and that they want to pop out, and that's when you know you have them. So what you want to do is get some plastic glue. Now I'm using the Citadel plastic glue, but if you're a subscriber with Hatchet Part Works, you would have got that through as part of your subscription, and you can see it's blocked up a little bit on the end there. So I'm just going to get my blade and gently remove that. And the reason the tip is black is if it blocks on the inside, which we find out in just a sec. So let's have a look. So just a small amount, if it comes out. No. So the problem with these is they block up in the end. A quick little solution to this. Be very careful doing this. Do not squeeze the bottle. Get a lighter and just hold it to the end. You'll get just a little bit of smoke come off. And now that should have burnt up the end. There you go. So we just got a small amount there, and all that does is just burns the end of the glue that is clogged up in there. So once again, taking our pieces, lining them up, and you do have a little bit of play with this, but try not to be too long with it. And we are just looking to get them into them indentations. Where they want to bump off. So I'll just let this dry for a minute and we'll be back in just a sec for the next step. Okay, so while that first piece dries, next we're going to clip off, so keeping it upright, we're going to clip off part 21, 22 and 23. So 21 is this piece here. Bear in mind this was 18, so we are keeping this to the side. 21 is this piece here. 22 is this piece here. And 23 is this small skull at the top. So I'm going to clip these out and then we'll be back in just a second. Okay, so welcome back guys. Right, now that I've got these pieces clipped off and cleaned up, we're now going to just quickly dry fit them, just to make sure that we get the orientation right and that there is a nice fit on the piece. So that fits nicely, and obviously the skull is just going to go on here. Now I'm going to angle my skull this way a little bit so he's sort of got his head to the side and screaming. With this piece it looks like you can angle it any way you want. All we're going to do is apply a small drop of glue just to the end of the spine there. Because this is plastic glue, this will melt the plastic and form a nice bond. And then we're just going to push that in and hold it there. Now there's no fitting in the skull, there's nowhere for that spine to sort of sit into, so just place it in just behind the jaw and have a little gap between the jaw and the spine. And just hold it there until it wants to hold on its own weight. Now it's recommended, and I would say important, that you let each piece fully dry before trying to suspend it on another piece, you know, so that it can hold its own weight. Right, so all I'm going to do is just apply another blob of glue just to the back there, and then that will out bond it a little bit more. It does take a minute or two for this to dry, which is why we take our time and let these pieces set as best as possible. Right, so next up, just going to apply some glue along this area here, and then making sure we get the orientation right. Which I didn't. So just get the orientation right and we will fit that there. So there we go, with a larger surface area, that fit itself much easier. Alright, so I'm going to put this aside, let this dry for a few minutes, and then we'll come back for the next step, which will be part 1B. Welcome back guys. So the next step, just before 1B, I forgot to mention, well, now that this is dried, we need to attach these two pieces. Now on this piece here with the skeleton on the bottom, if we can get this to focus, there are two little bumps just here. So one there and one there, and there's a small smooth indentation area here, and what this is for is on the back of this piece here there are two little indentations just here and the end of this, which is why it's important that we didn't snap this off, as that piece there is going to glue to the other piece. So what we want to do is line these up, dry fit them first, and this is a little bit fiddly. So the way that I did it when dry fitting, oh, there goes my skull, so put that back on later. Right, so when I did it, I held this piece in my right hand and this in my left, and then lined up these like this and then rolled it over. So just looking to fit it in, and then the stem itself there we go, fits in like that. So I'm just going to apply some glue. One drop to the end of the stem here, and then a small line of it along there. So again, grabbing this piece, finding the two small pieces, rolling them over and getting it to sit in like so. And again, this is one of those pieces where you just want to hold it for a minute or two, let that glue cure or dry, and then it should be good to go. So I'll hold this here, and we'll be back once my hands are cramped up. I'll catch you guys in a minute. Okay, and welcome back, guys. So, part 1B and part 1C, personally I'm going to reverse them. I think it will be easier, and you guys will be able to see from this with the video, but I think it will be easier to attach everything else once we have the main part on the base. Now what I'm going to do is dry fit this on the base, because it actually has a piece of scenery with it, which is explained in the previous step, or just before the previous step. So that piece is nice and easy to find and fix yourselves. So I'll leave that in your capable hands. But all we want to do is find where these two pieces will best line up, and I'm going to have it roughly like that. And all I'm going to do, now I don't want to permanently fix this to the base just yet, as I may be wanting to change it around, shift it around, or add something in onto the base, you know, texture wise and things like that, and I may want to do that with the model removed. I'm not 100% sure yet. So what I'm going to do is super glue it down with a small blob of super glue. Just on the end there, and that's just enough to give it a good solid fit. And then holding that down, supporting that other piece so we can tell exactly where we're going. So we want to be something like that. There we go. So I think that's about right. The image in the bottom of the page there does show it slightly more this way, but I think slightly more this way, and this is going to be off. So I think it's one of these pieces where it's personal preference, but you just want to get the majority of the model sat over the edge there. And the reason we're using super glue is if that is wrong and it's too front heavy, you can easily slide a blade just under this area here, under the back, and then twist away, and that will just pop the super glue off. Super glue doesn't make a super strong bond, plastic to plastic. Plastic glue is much better for it. So just a little tip there. Right, so the next pieces we need to cut off the sprue will be part 19 and part 25. So make sure we get the right sprue. There we go. So part 19 is this part here, and part, was it 25? Part 25 is this part just at the bottom here. So in regards to 18, the one above it and the one to the bottom left. So I'll remove these and remove the mould lines, and then we'll come back to see how they attach. Catch you guys in just a minute. Welcome back, guys. Right, so first of all, part 19, which is the part with the dagger on, will be going on. So if we hold this way so I can show you, we'll be going on this side. So as you're looking at it with the skeleton head pointing in the direction my finger is pointing, we're on the left hand side. So if we rotate this round, just in here you can see this smooth flat area, and what this lines up with is this area here, and you can see as they fit together the gap between them almost disappears, and that's when you know you've got a perfect join there. So we'll do this piece first, and we'll just run the glue along that edge and bring it down, and then grabbing the piece, fit it back into that edge, and hold it there to dry. There we go, nice solid bond on that one because it was two flat edges. So right, quick set. And for this piece, part 25, the hand, what we are looking for is this flat back here, and that will connect into this piece here, like so. So I'll go ahead, apply a small blob of glue on there, bring it back, and that should fit in. There, like so. There we go. So we got the curve of the hand and the trail behind it curving down, and then this area here you can just slightly see where I'd smoothed it out, but you've got a little bit of roughness there from where it was attached to the sprue. Obviously that large flat area will point up. So I'm going to give this a good minute or two to dry, make sure that sets firm, as there are pieces that will attach to these pieces, and then we'll come back in just a bit, guys. So next three pieces that we need are 17, 27 and 24. So part 27 is down in the bottom left if we are holding our sprue in the original orientation, with 18 and 19 being on the right here. So 27 in the bottom left, 24 in the top right, which is just next to where 19 was, and 17 is just next to that. So again, I'll go ahead and clip these three pieces off, clean them up, and we'll be back in a minute to assemble them. And welcome back, guys. So first of all, we're going to assemble this piece here and let that dry whilst we attach 17 to its place. So first of all, again, just dry fitting. And what we're looking at here is for this edge to attach along here. So from the looks of it, are we that way? We're not that way. It looks as though we are right along the bottom edge of it. Although that doesn't feel like there's much of a fit in there. Let's try it this way and have a look. Yeah, so there we go, like that. So from this side it's easier to see, and we're just looking to get these two pieces to join. Now you can see here I've got this small white piece that is just creating a little bit of a gap. So just going to gently remove that with the blade here. And then see how that fits. There we go, much better. Once the glue is in there, that will bond. So I'm just going to run some glue down this edge, holding it in this orientation so I know what way around I'm going with this. Get some of the glue out, there we go. And then again, carefully line it up and fit it down. And then hold that for a second or so, just to let that start to dry. There we go. And now we can take part 17 and attach that. Now 17 goes up on the side with the dagger here, and inside we've got this area with the slope, this area here, and that is going to fit to this area here. So again, it's going to be a bit fiddly, but we are looking for something along this way. Like that. Get it in camera. So we're looking to get it to fit in around about there. Now this is a bit fiddly to fit on camera, but we can see that this flat area here goes over the hole there. Like so. So I'm going to assemble this, glue this down off camera so that it's easier for me. Or I may try here actually. Let's see if I can get this here for you guys. And yeah, we've gone weak on the glue there. So no, I will do this off camera, guys, and be back in just a sec. Alright, and welcome back, guys. So sorry about that. That was a super fiddly piece. Right, next up is the part that we glued together as two separate parts. This one's not so fiddly. We just want to make sure that we get this curve around the back of that area there, and then some of them ghostly bits thread in between these ones here, and then we can see that it actually wants to just fit itself together along there, if we can get it. So it just wants to fit in like so. So all I'll do is leave that there with a slight gap that I can fit the nozzle of this glue along, run some glue down it, and then pop that back in, and then we'll hold it for a second or two, let that dry, and then I'll come back as we attach the third and final head to this little horror. Catch you guys in a bit. Okay, welcome back, guys. So finally we're just going to remove, clean up, and then fit part 20 here, and then that will be model 1 of these 3 done. So I'm just going to clip and sort this out and catch you guys in just a second. Okay, so welcome back, guys. Right, so for this final piece, you can see that we've got this slight flat curved area here, and then in here we've got this area with a little hole in the middle, and a couple of these tendril bits are going to thread in to a couple of these holes. So what we're looking for is to get this into a snug fit whilst fitting these through the holes, and this is probably the most fiddliest part. Just trying to get it to line up like so. So we're just looking at something like that. So apply our glue. Refit those few pieces in, and then set and hold. And I'm sure when Games Workshop designed this piece, they had the idea of seeing if they could create the most stressful piece, or the most stressful model to assemble, because this has to be by far the most complicated one I've done. But there we have it. One set of ghosts assembled. So we'll get on with the other two, and let this one dry. I'll affix this piece to the base, and then we'll come back in a minute for Spirit Host number 2. So I'll catch you guys in just a bit. Okay, welcome back guys. So now we're looking at building Spirit Host number 2, and for this sprue, this is the, out of the 3, this is the one that came on its own, without the other 2. So the other 2 sprues were attached like so, and this one was the 3rd one on its own. So again, keeping in orientation with the part that had been cut off before we received it, just so we know where the pieces are. We are looking for piece 10 and 11 to start. So that's this piece here, piece 10, and piece 11 is the small skull down here. So as before, I'll go ahead and remove these 2 pieces and clean them up, and we'll be back in just a bit. Okay, so now that I've got these 2 pieces done, you can see this piece here, the jaw, is super small and super fiddly. So all I'm going to do is just drop it roughly where it should be, and then slide it into place, hopefully. So a little bit fiddly, make sure we get the orientation right. This way up, and then it should fit in just like that along there. So now that I can see that that piece fits, and how it goes together there, we'll just go in, drop a blob of glue, a small amount. Now the tip with this is if you give it a slight squeeze, just so you get a small amount come out the end, stop squeezing, and then you can touch that and it will automatically pull some out of the tube. So again, drop that in. Now the glue isn't going to stick straight away, but it is going to stop the piece from falling out so easy. So all we have to do is just push it at the angle, get it there, and that just falls in relatively easy. So put the cap back on me glue there. Right, so whilst that dries off to the side there, we are now looking at part 15, which on our orientation is this piece here. So left side, long piece down at the bottom there. So again, I'll just remove this, and we'll come back once that first piece is dried, and we'll look about fitting this. Catch you guys in a second. And welcome back, guys. So now that I've got this piece removed, what we are looking to attach it is right above the skeleton's head. There's a small indentation here. Now in the build instructions it says to hold this way, and on the piece we've just removed there's a small notch here with a small bump in the middle of it. What we are looking to do is align that up and fit it in. Now I found it easier to do it this way, upside down. Find the notch, and pop it in there. Now, I'm not sure if you can see this, but you can see that you've got the little bit of gap there where it will go in, and then this will sit, if we can find it this way round. This will sit like so, and you can see once it fits perfect at the right angle, you'll feel it, it will actually sort of, you'll feel a little bit of a pop as you push, you'll feel it sort of slip into place. So apply a small amount of glue to the notched side, line it up, and then just rotate it again until you feel that sort of click as it sits in place. Just want a little bit of glue on the other areas that it might catch. There we go. So just hold that for a second, let that glue bond. There we go, no gaps. And you can see I'll put the glue on this piece here, this thin bit. As it does touch it, give it an extra bit of bond. Now what I'll do is I'll let this dry for about 5 minutes, and then with the glue I'll just run a small bit along there and there, and then the same along here and just on the inside, and then let that sit for 10 minutes to give a nice strong bond, ready to attach the third piece. So for me it'll be 10 minutes, for you guys it'll be a matter of seconds. Catch you in a bit. And welcome back, guys. So the next part that we need to attach will be part 13, this one here. And now this piece is fully dried, we won't have a problem. So again, just going to clip this out and clean it up, and then we'll look about attaching it to this piece here. So I will catch you guys in just a second. Okay, so welcome back, guys. I've got this piece now cleaned up. Right, so on the back of the pieces that we've attached, keeping it with the skull facing away, on the back of this piece that we've just attached, you've got this little indentation with a bobble in it. And on the piece we've just removed, on, if I can find it, just down here, we have this little indent. And all this does is straight over the top, like so. Now, this piece actually fits really nice and snug. You can see as I turn it, it sort of pops out, so that there is the seating position. So nice and easy to tell with this bit. So Small blob of glue just over the top. Same thing, back in, and you can tell straight away that that is there. So again, just going to let this dry for a few minutes, and then we'll be back for the next step. And while that dries, we can actually clip out the next piece. So all we're doing is part 16, which is the hand just on the left side of the sprue here. So again, carefully removing it. Now this shouldn't need too much cleanup, but I'm just going to very carefully just cut away small amount of that excess sprue, and with the blade pulling away, just remove some of that mould line, and there is a small piece just along the finger under there. And there we go. So I'll just wait for that to dry, and then we'll see about attaching this piece. Catch you guys in a sec. And welcome back, guys. So next up, we're going to attach the arm that we just removed from the piece, and if I can find my base, here it is. We'll attach the arm, and then we'll attach it to the base. And as with the blast model, I'm going to use some super glue to attach it to the base so that I can easily remove it if I need to. So the arm we're attaching to this ghost on the right here, with the skull facing towards us, and we can see there's a slight lip just on the arm, and all we're looking to do is attach that at the joint there. So lip over lip, and just join it in. A small bit of glue, and then hold. There we go. Now it's not fully set obviously, but it is enough that I can glue it down to the base. Now with this one, it looks like it attaches on the photo here pretty much in the centre of the base, so we're going to be looking at placing it probably around about here. So again, I'm just applying a small bit of glue in the centre, and then place that down just there. No, it did work, just need the glue to settle for a bit. Alright, so I'll let that dry, and we'll be back in a bit to add the 3 spirits. So we'll catch you guys in just a sec. Okay, so welcome back, guys. Right, now that we have this piece fitted to its base nice and secure, it's time to start attaching the 3 spirits heads. So the first part 12, I'm just going to remove this, clean it up, and he will be attaching to the centerpiece here. So I'll get on with this. We'll be back in just a bit. Okay, welcome back, guys. So now that I've got this first spirit head removed and cleaned up, we are now going to attach it to this centerpiece here. Now you can see on the hole we've got this angle piece that curves down and comes down to a point where my fingertip is. That is this flat piece here, with the point being here. So what we're going to do is line these two up, and then we carefully rotate it into place, and it will look something like that. So if you can see, we've got the hole is pretty much right near the top. It just hides as such. So I'll apply the glue to this piece as it's the larger surface area. And then same again, just going to line it up and fit it into place there. Allow the glue to dry for a second. There we go. You can see underneath we've got a nice clean fit. See if we can get that to zoom or focus. There we go, a nice clean fit just at the join line there. Okay, so whilst that dries, we can now go ahead and remove piece number 9, which is this guy here with the double blades. And while we're at it, we'll go ahead and remove piece 14 and 29. We know that this piece is number 9 with the double blades, and then the single arm guy is the last one. So I'll catch you in a bit once I've removed and cleaned these up. Okay, and welcome back, guys. So let's get this double bladed guy attached. So he is going on the left hand side of the piece here. So we've got the centre ghost facing us, it's the left hand side, and you can see here we've got this little slot and then the indentation shape of this. I'm going to turn it upside down slightly as it's a little bit easier to see how it goes. We are looking for a join like that. Now from the top, that will be his spiky bits will curl just behind these bits here on this one. So I'll go ahead and apply some glue to this flat surface here, and once again upside down, just go in and attach it there. And then again, what I'll do, I'll let this dry for a couple of minutes and then just blob some extra glue just along the seam line to melt the plastic together to bond it. So while that dries, we can actually go ahead, as long as we're careful, and attach this one. And this one, you can see we've got this flat area along here and this area here, and that actually attaches to the flat area just on the inside here. Something like, if we can get it, might be easier doing this upside down, but we are looking for a fit oh, sorry guys, a little bit difficult to see, and there goes the arm. So looking for a fit, something like that. Unfortunately, with the base on, That is a little bit difficult to show you guys, so you may have to sort of figure it out yourself a little bit. But I'll go ahead and get that attached, and then I'll reattach the arm and strengthen it all back up, and then come back to show you what it should look like. So just attach that there, and I'll be back in just a bit, guys. Okay, and there we have it, guys. Nice and solid connection now. Good and strong, not coming off. And that's number 2 built. So I'll just get ready for number 3 and catch you guys back in just a bit. Yeah, welcome back, guys. So now moving on to spirit host number 3, we are looking at first removing part number 7 and part number 8 from our remaining sprue. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and catch you guys back in just a bit. And welcome back, guys. So same as before, we're looking to fit the jaw on this piece here, and it is super fiddly, but it does fit nice and snug and nice and easy just in there. So I'm just going to blob in a bit of glue in here, and then searching for my super small skull piece on here somewhere. There it is. You're just going to once again drop it in place. The glue will help it grip and not fall apart, and then we can just push it with our finger until it fits in. Right, so while that dries, we are now looking at our second part, which is piece number 4. So keeping it in this orientation with the 2 ghosts with the daggers at the bottom so that we can know where we're going. Number 4 is on the right hand side here. So we'll just remove this. Set that aside, clean up, and I'll catch you guys back in just a bit. Okay, so welcome back, guys. Right, now this piece in the instructions is a little bit confusing as to where it sits. So first of all, right near the tail, we've got this hole where it splits into 2, and if you can just see it, a slight sort of bumpy area. And on this piece, just above or just below where it becomes solid, we've got this little indentation. And what we're looking to do is line this up, and you can see it very nicely rolls in and fits. Now again, this is one of those pieces, if you sort of wiggle it slightly, you can feel that it wants to bump out, and that is what we are looking for, is that snug bit in the middle. So what I'm going to do is apply the glue to this piece, as you can see, covering quite a large area, and then holding this piece like so. I'm just going to roll that back in until that I can feel that sort of wiggle doesn't want to move. Let that dry for a second, and then that's formed a nice bond. And you can see that we've almost got this this cross section has formed. So we'll let that dry whilst we remove piece number 6. And just to make sure, no, we've actually got piece number 2 and number 6. So piece number 2, if you get the correct orientation, is this piece in the top right, and piece number 6 is in the bottom left here. So I'll go ahead and remove these, and we'll come back in just a bit. Okay, so welcome back guys. Right, now this piece here, from how they are showing it in the instructions, is actually quite fiddly. They are asking us to attach this piece to the top here, like so, while simultaneously attaching it to this piece here, like so, and then attaching it all together like so. So what I'm going to do, and what I recommend, is first of all just attach this piece like so. So we're just looking to join that to there, like that. Let this piece fully dry with a good bond, and then attach the other piece. So what I'm going to do is exactly that. Attach this, let that glue bond fully, and then we'll come back and attach the other piece. So I will catch you guys in just a bit. Okay, so welcome back guys. Right, now off camera, trying to fit this together, I decided it is a little bit easier to do it attached to the base. So I've gone ahead and glued that to the base. Now what we're looking to do is this piece just here, if we can get this to focus. There we go. So this piece just here, this little notch, is looking to go into this section just here, and then on the bottom of this piece here, just where my fingers are there, are going to go into here. Now I will glue this off camera as it is super fiddly, but I will try and get a good shot for you guys to see before I do. So we're looking to fit in like so, something like this. So I'm going to go and do this off camera, and then we'll be back in just a bit guys. Okay, welcome back guys. So the first of the 3 ghost pieces to attach is this part in the bottom here. So obviously keeping our orientation, oh sorry, we have these guys at the bottom, so keeping our orientation with these guys at the bottom, it's this piece at the top, number 1, the guy with no dagger in his hands. So I'll go ahead and remove him, and then we'll see about fitting him to his piece. Okay guys, so with that piece removed and cleaned up, we are now holding the model with this orientation, so the front of the 3 pieces facing away from us. And what we're looking to attach is this area just in here to this area here. And you'll also note that this piece attaches to the arm. Now I found when dry fitting this off camera that the arm is slightly out of position for that piece to attach to it. So what I went ahead and did was just squeezed it together slightly, and you can see the whitening of the plastic right by my thumb there. So you don't want to overdo that, you don't want to split it, but you just want to get it to move in to get a better fit there. So I'm just going to apply some glue along this edge here and here. And then again getting this to line up. A little bit fiddly. But there we go. And we can see that that's actually a little bit off. Under there we can see that the plastic is away from where it should be. So I'm just going to reposition it like so. And there we go, in position. So I'm just going to let this dry and then I'll bond it again by adding a little bit more glue along that seam line. Let that dry for 5 minutes and then we'll come back and do the next head, which we will actually remove now. So the next head to do is number 3, which is this guy here. In the top right, if we're holding the heads up to the top now as it's the only piece left. The top right, this guy here with the a straight blade. Remove him and then I'll attach some glue to that and let that dry, and we'll be back in just a bit. Okay, so welcome back guys. Now that we've got this piece cleaned up, it's time to fit him to the lower of the 3 fittings. And you can see just on the back here that we've got that area with the hole, and that will line up across here with his arm here being on this bit that slopes backwards just slightly there. Now this one in dry fitting doesn't quite feel like it wants to sort of snap into any particular position. There's no real sort of click there that you can feel, so it's more of a case of lining it up and just making sure that it sits there right. So hopefully you guys can see that under there. We're just going in over the top of that there. So to this surface, just going to apply some plastic glue. There we go. And then again, just line that up as best as it will go. Along like so. Right, so again, I'll let that dry, and then I'll run some extra glue around the edge just to help that seal fully. And then while that's drying, I'll go ahead and remove this last one, clean it up, and then we can fix that in. So I'll catch you guys back once I've cleaned that up. Yeah, and welcome back guys. So now that we've got that piece glued and nice and steady on there, it's time to fit this last piece. Now what this is going to do is just almost sit down as though it's looking down, so that this area here and this under area just here will be along these 2 areas just here. So the under area will be along this piece, and the top piece will be along there, looking like this. And you'll also notice that this bit here that comes off the arm will actually sit just under there. And when it's on correct, should look something like that. So I'll go ahead and glue this on. So I'm going to apply this glue along here, underneath and here, and also along this piece here. And then once again, holding it nice and steady, I'll just push that up into position, and that actually goes really nice and easy, this piece. So there we go, that's what you're aiming for, is for it to be looking almost down, and from behind you can see that's a nice join all the way around. But again, I will run some glue along that edge just to melt the plastic and bond it together, and that will give us a nice solid bond. But overall, there we have it, guys. Our three spirit hosts, nice and ready for painting. So thanks a lot for joining me, guys. I hope you have enjoyed this video. I hope that it does help some of you with the assembly of these guys. I am glad that I only got the one issue and only had these three to do. If any of you guys bought more issues so that you get more of these guys, then I do not envy you on this one. I actually, a little bit of pity that you're going to have to struggle through that a number of more times. Anyway, for painting these guys, check the card up in the corner here, and I'll show you how to paint this guy here. And if you like the video, hit that thumbs up, subscribe, check out my other videos, and until next time, take it easy and keep painting those minis.